speaking to him and encouraging him, and he says, "You've got to forgive that lady. You've got to forgive her what she did to you and what that the gentleman, what he did to you, because it looks like it was a case of infidelity." And he had to let it go. And he says, when he was on from Barbados to Jamaica, and British
BWI.
yes, and he said when it touched down, because he took the decision to forgive, it's like the burden lifted off of him. And for those of us who may be sick in body and so on, and what I've discovered, even being a pastor and also combining the work I'm doing in psychotherapy, a lot of times people are not healed simply because they have not forgiven. The spirit of unforgiveness has just held them in a vis type vis. And even on Sunday night, a lot of people to me that ministry is there's somebody that you have not forgiven. You holding them up, and a lot of people came up for that. And we had to be ministering and doing deliverance, because here's what happens to you, persons. Unforgiveness is something that is like poison. Like poison. It shuts off a lot of things for yourself. And people I know are sick. I remember this case, this lady was going to the doctor and she had all of these maladies. And the doctor in his wisdom says, I've given you all of the medication that I can give you for the things that are expressed. Go and talk to a psychologist. And when, this is related to me, never happened to me. And when the psychologist was tracking and went back in her life, and she reported a case of abuse by somebody that was one, and what person had done to her parents. It says, my dear, you have to forgive those persons. You have to forgive those persons. And when she did that, it was like a burden was lifted off of her. And from that day on, she never went back to the doctor, because we have what is called psychosomatic illnesses. The unforgiveness that had gotten into her soul, into her mind, her thought, and emotions, was affecting the rest of her bodily function. So God wants to heal us. But he says, in terms of for the healing to become a reality for you, there are a lot of us who have to forgive persons, forgive that husband, forgive that mother, that father, that brother, that sister that did something to you, and you say, no man, me not forgive them. We hold it up in our heart, and God is saying this morning, please, 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 do that for yourself, so that you can hear that Jehovah Rapha becomes your reality.
Last week I did start speaking about the things we need to do to take care of these three parts of our identity: mind, body, soul. And rest was the topic of the day. Earl Brown has very cheekily said he didn't know that we celebrate May Day, because we took... Oh, that's a funny one. All right, I'm just gonna adopt that one and say I celebrate May Day. Yes. I really should celebrate all of May.
Yes.
My son was born in May.
Yes.
His birthday is tomorrow.
Yes, yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, if I were being truly dramatic right now, I'd be laid up.
Take the month off. Like I had a friend, who said to me, I said, her birthday is a certain, and she said, I'm celebrating all of the month. I'm receiving gifts. Why not?
Of course, indulge yourself. But so we were talking about last week. We spoke about rest and nourishment for the mind, body, soul. Those three parts of your identity, which a lot of time we spend more on the least part of it. Our body is the lowest part of it. Our body doesn't even pretend to be anything higher than the mind and the soul. Our body actually decays and fall apart cell by cell right in front of our eyes, some faster than others. But just now, as you were speaking, I thought, do you know, we should look at the injuries that can occur in the mind, body, soul triumvirate and just give some consideration to how those injuries are addressed. Because you're so right that we walk around severely wounded in the invisible parts of our identity. And again, we tend to think that, oh, if the skin breaks and blood spills out, that's the worst thing that could happen to us.
It's not.
But many of us who have suffered traumatic injuries in the invisible parts, many of us know that far greater damage is done to the mind and the soul than what occurs with the body. But because we are such sensory beings, we tend to react more aggressively to whatever injury occurs with the body, a broken leg. And you know, it's so funny that even in the I teach a course on well, I was going to say personal injuries, but it's really in the area of damages. And we've been trying to teach young minds about personal injuries and how the courts go about rewarding you or compensating you. Let's take that word reward out. Compensating you for injury to the body. They can easily relate to a broken leg of a particular severity. But when it comes to the pain and suffering, that seems to be far more difficult and it gets way less attention. I mean, you get to the point where judges, well, the predominant view is that if you are unconscious, if you sustain an injury that causes you to lose consciousness, because during your condition of unconsciousness, it is generally believed that you feel no pain. You don't get.
Like when music hits you.
You feel no pain. That's a reward.
Yeah, no.
But you know, and I've been thinking about it and saying, why do we diminish and belittle the injuries that can be sustained to these parts of your identity, which these are the injuries that can cause countries to falter, generations to lose their place, nations to suffer horribly because of the injuries that occur. Absolutely.
But that's what is what I was reading recently. Somebody was
but this is the
slavery.
One that we cheapen.
Yeah, because
even that
slavery, the impact of slavery on a person's mind. You mentioned epigenetics. Yes, and it is a major field of study that's happening, that's emerging, that generationally over time in the psyche it becomes embedded, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, and you pay a high price
because when he said to them, and they've just remember these are people who are just coming out of slavery, you know. When he said to them, "I am the Lord that healeth thee." 400 and how much years? 430 years of slavery, and he says, "Now, remember this: I am the one that heals. I will heal all of your diseases." And the diseases there, it speaks of infirmities, and somebody was pointed out to us that the infirmity that he was talking about is sickness in your mind.
Well, I mean, we're still talking about emancipating yourselves
from mental
slavery. So the enslavement of the body, that's addressed. You take off the chains, you take off the handcuffs.
But in terms of the mind,
continues to be injured. And so I have this note, Mr. Psychotherapist. How do you address the injuries to the invisible parts of the human identity, the mind and the soul? And what are these injuries really? How they manifest? It's worth some discussion because I think I sleep, I eat, I breathe, I think Jamaica. I just think about what's happening in my nation, and what part can, the one of us play in alleviating the suffering and in bringing about the transformation. I think about it constantly. Constantly. It's been something that I've thought about even as a child. I walk around the communities, even when I drive through.
Communities.
Now, as an adult, I drive through communities and I see them looking so far removed from the ideal. And when I say the ideal, I contrast those communities with what I see when I drive around the rural parts of other countries that are well established, have larger economies or more prosperous economies, not necessarily larger. When I drive through, even, there are many Caribbean islands with the same history as we have. When you drive through their countryside, it is a different look and feel from when you drive through the rural parts of Jamaica. You see the same natural beauty of the foliage and the dramatic landscape, but the children, the people that you see walking on the road, the condition of the road, the houses that you can see from the road, when you look and the infrastructure, the quality of the infrastructure that you see peeling off from the roadway into the communities. You're seeing things in Jamaica that we ought not to be seeing after so many years of being on our own. We've not progressed across the landscape, across the nation, in anything that looks like an equal way. And when I see it, because I come from country, so I have had the experience of driving from my community and watching the landscape change as you come closer to the city. And it really looks as if Jamaica is Kingston and Montego Bay and any resort corridor. Sometimes, like now, I see Minister Bartlett is advertising with his own face, something that we really should not do.
But it's a style now.
Yes.
I see it all over the place.
They're branding the industries as if to say it is not the corporate effort of Jamaicans that make things run. It's just the politician who sits at the table as minister.
That is a height of pride.
Yeah. Well, we know what happens. Chicken Mary Hawk then here.
No, but now look at this, because you're going to Spanish Town.
That might not be the right adage
is,
for it.
Olivia Babsley Green.
Yeah.
And there's a big sign there when we're celebrating.
A big picture of her.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying to myself, yeah.
So a lot more of that is happening than we care to see for those who are listening. We don't need to see your face spread over all of our business, because it's not your business. It's the people's business. Anyway, I do see Minister Bartlett advertising for stakeholder consultation I've forgotten what he's calling it, but it's some kind of national consultative effort to bring Jamaicans into defining the future of tourism.
No?
Yes.
Is that for real?
He's pimping us hard.
Is that a reality, or is it for the
optics? Whatever the case might be,
at least
he is trying to invite a national conversation on tourism. I look at it and I say, well, this could be a blessing. This could be converted into a great blessing, because if you are prepared to open up your community to the scrutiny and enjoyment of the visitor, apparently you can get good road. You can get things in your communities
that's what it's about.
would make you more hospitable, and you, the resident, can begin to enjoy some of what the visitors are enjoying. I look at it and I say,
So that is
perhaps this is a way.
So that is the catch.
That's the catch. If you are prepared to I'm not gonna use the word that came to mind, but if you are prepared to open up yourself for visitors to come in and come taste and see.
Oh boy.
Apparently you can get infrastructure. That the centuries old bridge that collapsed in the community, if they had made it into a tourist attraction,
Could have been fixed.
they would have patched it up and keep it and come and just hear the story of the bridge. Do you remember the bridges of Madison County?
Yes, it did. Yes, I
It's the name of
remember.
a movie.
It's
yes.
the name of a movie.
And it was about, these old bridges being photographed, and someone was going around doing a series on the bridges. So, I mean, there is tourism potential in Old Cemetery. There are people who like to go and read old gravestone.
Yeah,
and,
you did. I find that so
you've
fascinating.
done a bit of it.
No, yeah.
I went through my cemetery phase.
Serious?
Whenever I visit a foreign country, I like to see how they honor their dead. So I used to photograph cemeteries at an earlier time. My hobby was photography. A person looking at me horrified, like he isn't the one performing funeral services.
That's a different thing. You know what? You talk about that. I'm saying.
No. I had a great curiosity at a point in my life.
Are you serious?
About how different cultures honor their dead.
Okay.
Yeah, and some people are very efficient with how they dispatch the dead.
You need to speak of honor. Do you know?
Yes.
I have just begun to
Understand
get a
honor.
deeper insight as to what honor is. We have been interacting with two young ladies.
We being you and the wife?
Yes, but more so the wife.
So she's the greater part of the we.
Yes.
That's usually the case anyway.
Yeah, but and she's just blown away. She says, I've often heard the refer to honor, but they come to you and know I'm daddy, because in their culture they honor their.
So are these two people from a different country? It sounds so.
Yeah, man, they're from Africa, from one of the African countries.
Yes.
And I did something for them, and I was just blown away. One of them celebrated their birthday recently, and my wife mentioned it, and I says, "Okay, she's away from work. Let's celebrate." Oh jeez, oh jeez, oh jeez. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed.
It was an embarrassment of honor.
Yes, I couldn't believe it.
Did they try to wash your feet, Percy?
No, they never went that far. But I'm just, they were so grateful. And then this caps it all. So we're assisting them thing, and we got some furniture, and then I was moving it. I have the scars.
Oh, Percy injured himself moving furniture. So that's why you took a day off yesterday?
No.
Oh.
No.
Let's show the injury to the cameras.
No, it wasn't that. And so we lifted the furniture, myself and another deacon, we moved in the furniture. When we're finished, they went down on their knees. I said, thank you. I couldn't believe it. I said, thank you.
He was ashamed to say they went down on their knees at the feet of him and the deacon.
Yes.
And said, thank you.
Yeah, the honor.
That's why we were stolen from Africa. Tell them don't do it. People will kidnap them and enslave them.
No, but it's just how they honor their elders. If you are older than them, they honor you.
What age are these young ladies?
You're in their 20s.
Whoa, it's a big women.
Yes. It's honor.
Really?
Yes.
Dear Jesus, don't let the other Jamaican men hear about it.
No, they won't.
Jamaican men wouldn't mind women bowing at their feet.
No, it's just something.
Yeah.
Their culture.
But you see, we got the sign to quit. We'll come back after the 7 o'clock break.
You're simply the best. You're simply the best.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Artificial intelligence, or AI, is taking the world by storm.
While the full capacity of the technology is still being tested, it's already demonstrated its potential to transform the way we do business in many ways. This does, however, pose a challenge. If a computer using AI can do basic jobs you would normally pay a person to do, how will that affect the job market? The answer to that question is our focus for today, specifically the impact AI will have on the business process outsourcing sector. The foundation for AI begins with what is known as natural language processing, or NLP.
NLP has existed for over 10 years. And the way technology evolves, it's an incremental evolution. And I think we're at the cusp of that hockey stick impact, where NLP now, GPT that you hear is probably the highest form of NLP as it exists today.
Armand Biradar, president of the Global Services Association of Jamaica. Mr. Biradar says AI has many advantages for the global services sector, one of which is the ability to design a smarter knowledge base to provide answers to queries customers may have.
Anybody has a question, anybody has a problem, anybody needs an answer to something. And if someone has to provide them, it could be a website, it could be talking to someone. It all emanates out of a smart designed knowledge base. NLP will play an important role in better designing knowledge bases.
Leveraging these and other uses of AI will enable companies within the space to adopt and offer even higher quality services to its clients. George Pennington, who works as an IT manager within the global services sector, says AI can also assist call center operators in generating useful responses in business settings. He gives us an example.
The menial entry-level data positions, that's something that AI can do to make your job easy and to be able to meet that sales call. So gathering the information on the customer so you can probably make the right pitch. Objection handling, how do you read the conversation? But things like that makes more sense to me rather than trying to pull everything off of your head. That's where AI, I think, is going to make the difference. That bridge or that extra person who is basically coaching you in your ear without somebody having to be in your ear.
Another benefit that AI can bring to the BPO industry is the use of voice analysis to help improve the training of workers and provide better support to customers. Voice over IP specialist Nigel Grandison says voice analysis can help to identify a customer's tone of voice, pitch, and overall mood during a call.
Which evolves into what we know as sentiment analytics. And sentiment analytics, we can know in a conversation whether or not the customer is giving good feedback or if the sentiment is negative. We can actually do live call analytics, and that creates coaching opportunities. A QA will be able to see, those calls and be able to say, hey, this is what happened in the call, this is what we can do to improve the call. Even so, a manager can be even listening on a call or live sentiment monitoring, and we'll be able to pick up on those feedback from the AI. Say, okay, this call is not going well. I need to jump in and take over this call. And so this is an opportunity to improve the customer experience.
With these and other uses in mind, one can conclude that AI offers new possibilities. This presents opportunities for local companies who embrace the technology to adapt their operations. What this means for job seekers as well as BPO companies is higher paying jobs being outsourced to the island.
They have to work with their clients to exhibit higher value, that they can do higher value services and work on selling that services while in parallelly work through reskilling. It's easier said than done, but the comfort is that we have teams, we have programs in place to better manage. And to Jamaica's advantage, we're not too huge, we're not too small, and we're a highly collaborative environment.
Armand Biradar, president of the Global Services Association of Jamaica. So, AI is expected to open new opportunities up for the island in the global services sector. It's our job to be ready to exploit them. And with the necessary training and preparation, we should be able to do so comfortably. That's where we leave our look at artificial intelligence for this week. Until we meet again, I'm Andre Palmer. Thank you for listening.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.